Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. Finally, the Pixel 7 Pro is here with Google's Tensor 2nd Gen and a lot of new exclusive features that you can only find on the Pixel 7 models. And the purpose of this video is to put all these features into action to see if they are worth the upgrade. Also stay tuned for my upcoming in-depth review later this month, but for now, let's take a look at the Pixel 7 exclusive features. So let's start with the Face Unlock feature, and as you may know, this feature is exclusive to the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro models, and it's not coming to the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro of last year, and here I have the 7 Pro to show you how it works. In this part, I'm going to show you the pros and cons of this feature and all the workarounds I discovered to overcome some of the issues you might face with this feature. So let's start with the pros first. The setup process doesn't exceed 10 seconds. It's very simple and easy. All you need to do is to agree to the terms and conditions, look at the phone's camera, look up for a few seconds and then look down, and you are good to go. Now you have the Face Unlock feature set up. The second good thing about the Face Unlock feature on the Pixel 7 models is how fast it works. All I need to do is to look at the device and I'm immediately inside the home screen without the need to swipe up. And this is one of the things we used to have on the Pixel 4 models and I used to enjoy it a lot. But you need to keep in mind one thing. If you are playing media and then go to your lock screen, you will no longer find your media controls for easier access, and that makes sense because once you look at the device, it will go to the home screen, so you will not have time to interact with the media controls from the lock screen. In this case, if you want your media controls back, you can go to Settings and then Security and deactivate this feature by going to Face and Fingerprint Unlock, put the passcode, and then go to Face Unlock, and here you will find the toggle called the Skip Lock Screen. Once you turn off the switch, go back to the lock screen, and now I have the media controls back so I can interact with it. But to complete my unlocking process, I have to swipe up as if I have an iPhone. One small thing worth mentioning, if you have the skip lock screen deactivated when you look at the device, all your notifications content will be revealed, which is similar to the iPhone as well. The third good thing about the Face Unlock feature is the Require Eyes to be Open toggle, which is very important for your privacy. And this is one of the things we used to have on the Pixel 4 as well, and I'm glad to see it on the Pixel 7. I tried it and it works really well, so now my eyes are closed, and when I try to do anything, as you see, the phone is not unlocking. However, you need to keep one thing in mind. If you are wearing sunglasses, the phone will not recognize your face if you have the Require Eyes to be Open activated, because the phone is not using any infrared or projection like other phones like the iPhone or the Pixel 4. So in this case, you have to take off your sunglasses temporarily to unlock the device. So here I have my sunglasses, and when I put it on, I have my eyes open, and as you see, the phone is not unlocking. So I have to use the fingerprint, or all I need to do is to remove it temporarily, look at the device, and as you see, it unlocks instantly. The good thing number 4 about the Face Unlock on the Pixel 7 is it works in all positions. So if you are holding the phone in landscape mode and then tap the screen, it works. Even if you are holding the phone upside down like this, it still unlocks the device, which is a very nice touch. One last good thing about this feature is the ability to turn off the face and fingerprint unlocking entirely and rely only on the passcode all the time. This is very similar to the lockdown feature, but lockdown only works one time and then turns off after you unlock the device. But if you want to keep using your passcode all the time, you can turn off this switch, and then when you go to the lock screen, it will not ask you for the fingerprint or the face unlock, and it will always require the passcode. Now let me share with you 2 final drawbacks in the Pixel 7 Face Unlock. The first one, if you are using the feature in a dark room, it won't work. And here's one example. This is a screen recording. I tried to unlock the device using the face unlock and it didn't work, and I had to use the fingerprint. The second one is you will not be able to use face unlock to verify it's you in apps, and it says clearly here using fingerprint. But you still can turn off the biometric authentication using the fingerprint if you want inside apps and only rely on the passcode. while keeping unlocking the phone using the fingerprint and the face unlock at the same time. So Google is now giving more options to customize your unlocking experience. So that's pretty much everything you need to know about the face unlock on the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro. Now let's move on to the next chapter. Now let's talk about the second big thing you will get with this phone, which is the photo unblur feature. And I have a lot of scenarios for you to show you how powerful it works. So here's one of the photos I took while shaking the camera like crazy, and as you see, my face is very blurry. Everything in the scene is blurry as well. So let's try to use the feature and see what's gonna happen. So automatically, the AI will recognize that the photo is not sharp, and it will give you the unblur option right away under suggestions. When you tap on unblur and give it a few seconds, and let's see now how the photo looks. As you see, it's much sharper, and to show you a comparison, when I tap and hold, this is the original, and this is the final result. This is the original again, and here's the final result. And if you even take a look here at the background, you will see a lot of improvement here. So I'm really glad that Google created this feature. It's very, very powerful. Here's another scenario, but this time the problem is with the focus. So in this case, I tapped to focus on the iPhone. So you can see the iPhone is sharp. There is no issues here. But if you take a look here at the can, you will see everything looks out of focus and it doesn't look great. So let's try and see if the feature will fix this issue. So here you go. Now let's zoom in. And as you see, the text is much sharper now. And here's before, here's after, here's before and after. Scenario number 3 is to try this feature on very old photos that I took on non-Pixel devices a very long time ago, maybe 2012. And this is one of the photos of me and my son. And as you see, the photo looks terrible. Everything is blurry and doesn't look great. So let's tap on edit and see how this photo will improve. So now it's done, and let's zoom all the way in. As you see, my son's face is now much cleaner, and when I tap and hold, this is before. As you see, it looks really bad without the unblur feature, and this is how it looks now. Scenario number 4 and the last one, if you have a moving subject in the photo, sometimes you get a lot of blurriness because of the movement, and this is when the feature lags behind. So for example, if I tapped on edit and then try to unblur this photo, it doesn't even give me the option under suggestions. So I have to go to tools and apply it myself. And if you take a look here, it doesn't improve that much. You get like maybe 10–20% improvement, but still the issue exists. So that's the only scenario where the feature will not give you a lot of help, but 80% of the time it's definitely a win, and I do really enjoy having this feature. Now let's talk about the new features under the display. When you go to settings and then display, you will see one new option here called screen resolution. And when you go inside, you have the option to choose between 1440p or 1080p. And by default, the phone comes at 1080p. And to be honest, I didn't notice a big difference between the two. So if this is gonna save me some power, I will definitely stick to the 1080p resolution. And let me also show you a side-by-side comparison, viewing text on both resolutions and also playing some videos. Starting with the text, yes, the 1440p is sharper, but to see the difference you have to zoom all the way in, but in normal usage it's hard to notice. And when it comes to videos, it's even harder to spot the difference because of the colors and the continuous movement. So I will test how the lower resolution impacts the battery in my in-depth review and keep you updated. But for now, I do recommend sticking to the 1080p resolution. The second change under the display settings is in the colors menu. Now we have only two options. We have natural and adaptive, and we no longer have the boosted options like all other Pixel models. Now let's talk about some random new features here and there that I only found on the Pixel 7 models for now, but maybe Google will release them to older Pixel models in the future, but I'm not sure. So let me show you what I have here. The first feature is the ability to silence phone calls using quick phrases. And here's a quick demo. Silence. Decline. As you saw, I was able to use multiple commands. I started by silencing the phone call and then I decided to decline it, which is a nice touch. Next, the at-a-glance widget got a couple of new features. When you go to its settings, you will first see the package delivery, and this is one of the features Google showed us in the event of the Pixel 7, where you will get a notification and a quick photo of the package on your at-a-glance widget. The second feature is called Safety Check, and the description says Safety Check countdown from the Personal Safety app. So if you have a Personal Safety countdown set up and running, you will see that in your at-a-glance widget. Next, the digital well-being feature can now detect the snoring and coughing while sleeping, and you can see this by going to settings and then digital well-being and parental controls. And if you scroll down a bit, you will see here a new card saying sleep better with bedtime mode, and it says here customize your display, automatically turn on do not disturb, and track coughing and snoring during your scheduled bedtime. To activate the snoring and the coughing tracking, all you need to do is to go inside the bedtime menu, and when you expand the weekly average summary, it will tell you here to set a schedule first for the bedtime. Now, when I expand the routine, I have two options to set a schedule, either to choose a time or to turn on while charging. To make things easier, I will turn on while charging, and I will immediately get a graph, and here I have a filter says cough and snore info. So if you have this feature activated, you will keep, the phone will keep tracking any sounds happening while sleeping and detect if it's snoring or coughing and record this information over here. You might also get a splash screen when you activate the feature for the first time, asking you to allow access for the snoring and the coughing feature. I already did that, so I'm sorry I didn't have a screenshot to show you how it looks, but this is how the feature looks like after activation. Last but not least, I spotted one more new option under settings and then safety and emergency. When I scroll down, there is a new option here called silence notifications while driving. I couldn't find this option on any of my older Pixel models, only on the 7 Pro. And when I go inside, I have here a switch to turn on the feature, and the description says the phone will automatically activate Do Not Disturb if it detected you are driving, and also it will rely on the Bluetooth connection. Now let's talk about the camera, and it got plenty of new features when compared to the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro models, starting with the macro mode. As you see here, the phone automatically switched to the macro mode with an icon showing in the viewfinder if I have the camera close to the subject, and when I move further away, it will automatically switch to the normal mode. So here's the macro mode, and so on. As you know, the macro mode uses the ultra-wide lens of the Pixel 7 Pro with autofocus, so you won't find this feature on the regular Pixel 7, only the 7 Pro. Let me also show you some examples for this feature. I took this shot in a normal lighting conditions without any extra lighting, and as you see, it looks stunning. It's very detailed and sharp. You can be as close as 3 centimeters from the subject, and this is one of the results you can get. Here's another one for my weddings scan watch, and one more for the 8K800i CyberShot phone I have here in the background, and as you see, the shot looks great. You can turn off the auto macro mode under settings if you want. So when I go to more settings, scroll down, I see here auto macro, and when I turn off the switch and make the camera close to the subject, I still get the macro icon, but it's deactivated, and when I tap on it, it will turn into yellow, and that means it's activated. The second change is the ability to record 4K 60 videos across all cameras. So as you see here, I have 4K 60. I can use the ultra wide, the normal, and also the telephoto, in addition to the front-facing camera can still record at 4K 60. Yes, Google is very late in implementing this feature, but at least we have it right now. The second new feature under the video mode is the ability to record 10-bit HDR videos, but it only works up to 4K 30 frames per second. And as you see here, I can activate it once I choose the 4K 30. It works across all lenses as well. So I still have it here on the ultra wide, and when I go to the telephoto, and also I think it's available for the front-facing camera. The third improvement in the video recording is the ability to use the speech enhancement feature while recording 4K videos, but it only works up to 30 frames per second, which is better than the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro models that only supports the speech enhancement up to full HD resolution. You will also notice a lot of interface changes here and there, starting with the zoom levels. If you take a look closely here, you will see each zoom level is separated with a circle. But if we're going to compare that to the Pixel 6 Pro here on the right, this is not the case. The second change here is in the zoom slider itself is now much more precise. So if you take a look here, it looks different, and you will see each stop to let you know which lens you are using right now. So here you have 2x, you have 5x, 10x, and so on. And every time you reach a stop, you will get a nice haptic feedback. The second interface change is in the pill at the top left corner. Now it shows a different icon, depends on the camera mode. So for example, when I switch to portrait, this is the icon, here's the motion mode, and finally night sight. And also when you go to the video, it will show what kind of settings you are using. So for example, now I'm using full HD, and it says here FHD here in the icon. And when I switch to 4K, it will change to 4K. When I activate the speech enhancement, it will add another icon. So now you will get more information from this pill at the top left corner. The third and final interface change is the new shutter key for the motion mode. As you see here on the left, it looks totally different when compared to the older version of Gcam, which is installed on the 6 Pro. Now let's talk about night sight, and it got a couple of improvements. First, now it takes half the time when compared to the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro to take the same shot. And the second improvement is in the ability to adjust the amount of time you want. So you can get up to 6 seconds, depends on the lighting condition. I have here the lens covered to show you this feature. And as you see here, I have a slider, I have 5 seconds now, but it might change to 6 seconds depending on the light. If you set it to the default, it can give you up to 3 seconds. Sometimes it's 1 second, 2 seconds, or 3 seconds, or you can turn the feature off completely. But when you go to the night sight mode, you don't have the option to turn off because it doesn't make sense, because you're already in the night sight, but you can still choose between the default and the maximum. But the question is, does the maximum time improve the night sight photo? To figure this out, I will take a night sight shot on the Pixel 6 Pro and compare it with the 7 Pro on the default time, and then I will switch to the maximum time on the 7 Pro and take the same shot and see if that makes any improvement. So let's find out. Here's the first one, and I clearly see the 7 Pro shot using the default settings is the darkest, especially when you look at the shadows. When I used the maximum time on the 7 Pro, the results are very similar to the 6 Pro, but slightly brighter, and you can see that when you look at the floor. When it comes to the details, the 7 Pro shot using the default settings is the sharpest due to the less motion blurriness while holding the phone by hand. It only took 2 seconds or less in the default scenario versus 3 seconds at the maximum settings, and the 6 Pro was about 5 seconds. So it's better to use the default settings on the 7 Pro to get the sharper image and to compromise a small amount of exposure. But if you have a tripod, the maximum settings can give you a brighter image without motion blurriness. Here's one final shot, and the differences are more obvious here. The 7 Pro at the default settings is the darkest, while at the maximum settings it's the brightest, and the 6 Pro is somewhere in between. And this time the details coming out of the 7 Pro in both scenarios is better than the 6 Pro with less noise. So that's pretty much the new changes in night sight. Now let's continue with the features. Now let's talk about the guided frame feature of the Pixel 7 that can help the visually impaired people to take selfies. And to activate this feature, you need to go to settings and then accessibility, and then activate the talk back feature. And once you do this and open the camera, the feature will automatically guide you to take a selfie. So here's a screen recording while trying the feature.
Camera, 0 faces. Switch to front camera. Ready for selfie. No faces in frame. 1 cropped face. Move your phone right and down. 1 face. Move your phone slightly right. Ready for selfie. 3, 2, 1. Photo taken. 1.
As you saw, the feature was very accurate and it gave me very clear instructions to take a good selfie. On top of this, I was getting a haptic feedback with every step I take, which is very useful. Now let's talk about the new cinematic mode that has its own tab in the camera. This new mode will allow you to take videos with the blur effect, so it keeps the subject in focus and blurs the background to give you a cinematic effect. It only supports full HD recording, and the front-facing camera is not supported as well. All you can do here is to turn the flash on or off, Also, you cannot adjust the blur effect after taking the video in Google Photos like the iPhone does, but all you get here is the video itself. So let me show you some day and night samples. I found the cinematic videos of the 7 Pro to be laggy while panning the camera, and the blur effect is a bit too much, in addition to the low resolution, which is only 1080p. So I think Google needs to improve the quality of this feature, especially the shutter lag, which is the worst thing about it. Last but not least, let's talk about the zoom. As per the event, the super res zoom algorithms should be much better now, and we should get a higher quality zoomed photos. And also the telephoto is now 5x instead of 4x like we saw with the 6 Pro. On top of this, we have up to 30x zoom instead of only 20, and once you pass the 15x, you will get this viewfinder at the top right corner to make it easier for you to adjust the camera. It will allow you to see the whole frame, so you can point your camera better, and it will also give you better stabilization. So let's see some zoom shot compared to the 6 Pro and see if there is any improvement. This is the first zoom shot at 2x. At the first glance, they look very similar, but if you take a look closely at the text, you will see a noticeably better and sharper image coming out of the 7 Pro. The second shot is taken using the telephoto lens of the 6 and 7 Pro at 4x and 5x optical zoom respectively, and I can clearly see the cracks in the sign, which is almost non-existent in the 6 Pro shot. To show you all levels, here's the 20x zoom shot on both. I see the 7 Pro is still better, and finally the 30x zoom is still good enough to clearly read the text from a distance. So overall the zoom is certainly improved with the 7 Pro. So now I'm done with the camera, and this is everything new I wanted to show you about the Pixel 7 Pro when it comes to the software and the hardware features. And please let me know in the comments if I missed anything. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and see you the next video.